In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. I am Professor Amir. I am alright and I hope that you will also be doing well. Today I am going to teach you lesson 1 of the active and passive voice. Where and why to use passive voice. We use passive voice at certain places in paragraphs, in certain passages, and in applications and letters, and for certain instructions and orders and requests and advices, pieces of advice and directions. So we have to look at these sentences, the points where there are some sentences having passive voice. Why is passive voice used? Number 1, to omit the subject doer of the action. In the past, no tools or gadgets such as computers, laptops, and mobile phones were used, but nowadays they are commonly used. So here I have used passive voice because I don't want to mention here that people use them, but these gadgets are mostly used that were not used in the past. So I have to write such sort of sentences and certain essays or certain passages, larger passages. They can be part of a larger passage. Number 2, to avoid repetition when the subject or the doer is already mentioned. So when suppose we mention a subject, then we have not to repeat the subject, but we have to just describe the actions that follow. So sometimes we feel the need of using passive voice. So it is proper to use passive voice at the proper place. So that is appropriate. It is scheduled, we have arranged a party. It is scheduled to be held at 7 p.m. in the evening. Many people will attend it. This is active voice. All the participants will be served with dinner and tea or coffee. So the last sentence is passive voice. So we can use in this way. Suppose we have described the subject in the beginning, and then after 2 or 3 sentences we felt a need to use passive voice to omit the subject, to avoid the subject. See here at number 3, look at this. To describe the things in which the happenings, results are more important than the causes or doers. So when actions are more important, the happenings, the occurrences are more important, we don't use subjects or doers. So we mention the results first. Many people were killed. So this is important. Many people were killed and injured in a bomb blast. After that comes the cause. Or as a result of firing by some unknown dacoits, gunmen. So here we can use the doers after the occurrence. Now see it at number 4. See here, we use passive voice to mention something when we either consider doers unimportant or avoid mentioning them. Suppose carbolic acid was used before the discovery of penicillin to kill the germs in the wounds, but it killed the patients as well. So here we have described about carbolic acid, use of carbolic acid. It's not necessary to say that this carbolic acid was, suppose people used, or suppose we name some person that but we cannot name because it is the thing of the past. We just want to describe the occurrence the result of carbolic acid, what happened when it was used in the past. But after the discovery of penicillin, so this danger was averted, this danger was avoided. Number 5, when we forget who the discoverer or inventor was, or it is unknown to us, we use passive voice. So, at certain places, when we don't know who discovered something, who did something, we just describe the happening, the discovery, the invention, but we don't mention the name of the discoverer or the inventor. Penicillin was discovered in 1928 in London. Suppose that was by Alexander Fleming, but suppose we forget this name, then we have to write in this way, as here is written, penicillin was discovered in 1928 in London. That may be omitted if one does not know. Many ancient people skillfully made pieces of art that are kept in museums. Now here, in the last of this sentence, I have used passive voice, so that pieces of art are kept in the museums by people. So number 6, when we write about the procedure, experiment and the result, in certain experiments, when we describe the procedure, how we experimented, how we came to know the results, how we came to know the fact, we describe in passive voice. While experimenting, the following procedure was followed. A glass of water was put in a pot and heated on a stove. When the water started boiling, half a glass of milk, 2 teaspoons sugar, and a few tea leaves were put into it. After 5 minutes, tea was ready. Now, here I have used passive voice in the procedure that I followed, suppose. Number 7, the planning of something that is to be done. I have to tell about my planning. Suppose somebody plans something, somebody can tell about the planning. We have planned to install a factory. 2-acre land has been spared for the purpose. This is also passive voice. Contract will be given to some reputable agency for its infrastructure and installation. So here, passive voice is used for the points of a planning. Number 8, when a report is written, passive voice is used. Suppose somebody is directed to submit a report about certain problem, then that person has to use passive voice. I was directed to submit a report on the problem of dash. During the survey, the following things were found. On a single day, about 10 robberies were committed. He found out in survey. People were not informed about the situation. Okay, so this is also passive voice. An inquiry was conducted in this regard. Conducted by whom? By the person, okay, who was surveying. One suspect was arrested, but nothing was found on him. So when that person inquired into the matter, then he found out that one suspect was also arrested, but nothing was found on him, and nothing like a weapon, etc. So this can be part of that report. Okay, so this is not the order of the report, but these are the sentences you can use somewhere in the report, even in the results, in the survey of the report, or in the points of the report. This report is submitted for necessary action, please. So at the end of the report, we write this way: this report is submitted for the necessary action, please. For certain instructions, passive voice is used. Suppose silence should be observed here. Suppose when we visit a library, we see there some board displaying this thing, that silence should be observed here. Nobody is allowed to smoke here. Or sometimes we see no smoking, but no smoking is not passive voice. These are just two words, but they indicate that smoking is not allowed. Nobody is permitted to enter. Here, nobody is permitted is passive voice, to enter. No entry without permission. This is not passive voice, there is no verb in it, but it indicates the same thing, that nobody is permitted to enter. So entry is not allowed without permission. Those students who remain absent will be fined. Here, this sentence is passive voice. If you come late next time, you will not be allowed to enter the class. This is warning, and this is in passive voice. The forms should be filled in and submitted before or on the due date. So in the forms we find this thing written out there. So it is the instruction by the authorities when we fill in the form, that we have to fill in the form carefully. We have to fill in the form first, and we should submit it on the due date or before it. When we request something in letters and applications, or we respond to letters or applications, we use passive voice. See here, such sort of sentences: I may kindly be permitted to do something. We are pleased to accept your offer. This is also found there. We may kindly be informed about. Okay, in a letter, suppose we find this sort of things. We may please be allowed to. This is passive voice, and we can add something after to. So the report case is submitted for your action, please. Okay, the report or case is submitted for your further orders. Okay, for your further action, please. For your next necessary action, please. If we may be allowed to avail this opportunity, suppose in letter we write in this way, that if I may be allowed to avail this opportunity, okay, then wars have settled nothing but unsettled everything. Suppose we are writing about wars, some paragraph, some essay, so we can describe our points or ideas in this way. So the first sentence of this these sentences, okay, among these sentences is active voice. It's not passive. Wars have settled nothing but unsettled everything. That means nothing has been settled, everything has been unsettled. So everything is unsettled, settled. Nothing is settled, everything is unsettled by the wars. The wars affected a lot of people in the past. So that means this is also active voice. But if we convert it into passive voice, then a lot of people in the past were affected by the wars. So they were killed, injured, and many of them were made homeless. Many of them were made homeless. Here it is passive voice. So we have not to convert all the sentences into passive voice, but we have to use necessarily where we feel a need of using these passive voice sentences. Many of them became homeless. This is active voice. So you can either use this passive voice or active voice, but you have to be careful. So you must use passive voice where it fits, where it is convenient to use a passive voice. So the criminals will surely be punished for their crimes. This is also passive voice. We can add such sort of sentences in some larger composition when we are writing essays, or suppose some larger composition. We are doing some, suppose we are writing essays. If the people do not care they will likely fall a prey to the impending danger. The impending danger. They must be informed beforehand to take the protective measures in time. They must be informed beforehand. This is passive voice. After that, there's the its part is in infinitive. Okay, then now see here, truth should be rewarded. The elders should be respected. The poor will be provided with the basic facilities of life. Such sort of sentences can be added somewhere in larger compositions. Nobody will be allowed to hoard the things of daily use. Hospitals will be visited in order to check for the facilities that they provide. All the people should be informed about the initial symptoms of the disease. Suppose we can use such sort of passive sentences somewhere in larger compositions. During the survey, the following things were found. There was no arrangement of pure water. Mostly the streets were congested and filthy. The speaker was reported to have said that the laws will be amended. The speaker was reported to have said. Somebody reported it. So this is in passive voice. In case anybody violates, they will be tried and punished by the law. This is also in passive voice. Suppose at certain places we use passive verbs like this. You are ordered to do something. You are ordered to apply these things. You are ordered to move. You are ordered to arrange these things, and you are requested to inform the people. You are advised to make amendments. You are directed to take measures. Okay, then you are informed. You are intimated to do this thing. Okay, so such sort of passive verbs. So these are ordered, you are requested, you are ordered, you are advised, you are directed, you are informed, intimated. These are used. Suppose when we describe something about man and nature in larger composition, we can use such sort of sentences. Man is created as a rational being, created by God, by Allah. Man is bestowed with a powerful faculty of mind. Bestowed by whom? By Almighty Allah, by God. If we observe nature, many things have been created as symbols. This is also passive voice. Nothing in nature is created without a purpose. Wise people are inspired by many things of nature. Okay, so these all are passive sentences. Secrets of nature can be understood by spiritual approach, not the materialistic one. So here, this sentence is also passive voice. People may be startled by wonders of the nature itself. So, because in nature there are certain things that startle us, that cause this wonder. Okay, so we wonder at these things, how they happen. Okay, so now we have to start learning passive voice. So at number 1, there is present indefinite tense. So the formula of active voice is subject plus V1, subject plus V1 plus object. Okay, so there should be no complement in passive voice, because the sentences in which there is complement, no object, they cannot be converted into passive voice. Okay, so this should be noted. The formula of passive voice is object plus is MR plus V3 plus by preposition plus subject into objective case. Now here in the active sentence, there is no helping verb, but in the passive sentence we have to use helping verbs. Is MR, any one of them. Okay, now see here the sentence, I write a story. This is the active sentence. In passive voice, we have to use object first, then verb, and subject at the end. Subject and object, they exchange their places. Object comes at the place of subject, and subject goes to the place of object. Now, this object should be first according to this formula. Object should be first. A story, we have kept here a story. Then is, am, are. Story is singular, we have to use is, not are. Suppose if there were stories, then we would have used are. The story is singular, we have to use is. So we have used is here. And then this first form of verb, main verb, will be changed into third form of the main verb. That is written. A story is written, and then by preposition, we have to use this preposition by, and then at the end subject. Subject is I. But when I goes at the place of, it is used as the place of object, so objective case applies to it. The objective case of I is me. So we have used me here. A story is written by me. Okay, so this is passive voice. Subjective case and objective case. Nominative case and objective case. So objective case of I is me. The objective case of we is us. You, he, him, she, her, it, they, them, John, Okay, so these are the objective cases. Name will remain the same. Suppose he takes tea. This is the active voice sentence, and the passive voice is tea is taken by him. Tea is object, that is written at the beginning, and then comes the verb takes. The text is converted into third form, taken, and there is verb with it, that is, because tea is singular subject. Tea is taken, then by preposition, by, and then we have to describe the doer of the action, by him. He takes tea, tea is taken by him. This is passive voice. Suppose he calls me. Now he is in the subjective case, subject case. If it goes at the place of object, then it is converted into him, into the objective case. And when me comes at the place of subject, so it is written in the subject case, nominative case, and me becomes I. So he calls me is I am called by him. I am called by him. Now look at this sentence, I buy books. Books are bought by me. So you must learn the forms of verb, because here you have to use third form of the verb in passive voice. So you must learn first, second, and third form of the verb, present, past, and past participle. She buys a lot of household things. Now look at this sentence. When we convert a sentence from active voice into passive voice, we must look for three things. So those three things are subject, verb, object. Maybe there is some extension of the sentence. Maybe some additional information is there, but we have to find three things first. So they are subject, verb, object, because subject and the object are exchanged places, and the verb remains at the same place, and it is changed into third form of the verb. Okay, so she buys a lot of things, lot of household things. Now the object is a lot of household things. Object can be larger because the pure object is just things or a lot of household things. Household things is the object, but a lot of it is these are the words, attributes of the object. Okay, so now this whole object has to be taken from here and kept at the beginning. A lot of household things are, because household things is the plural subject, and because of this plural subject we have to use are bought by her. Then all his friends enjoy the welcome party. All his friends is subject, enjoy is verb, and the welcome party is the object. The welcome party is enjoyed by all his friends. Look at next sentence. She purchases an expensive two-story house. Now an expensive two-story house is the object. She is subject and purchases is the verb. Now we have to start from this object when we convert this into passive voice. An expensive two-story house is purchased by her. This is passive voice. This is active voice and this is passive voice. We have to write PV. That is passive voice. Okay, then his uncle gives him many expensive things. So his uncle is the subject. Uncle is purely the subject and his is attribute. Gives is verb, him is object. Many expensive things is also the object. Now here we have two objects. This him is the indirect object and many expensive things is the direct object. So we have two options to convert this sentence into passive voice. Whether we keep this object first or the next object first. Let us look at this sentence. Many expensive things are given to him. By his uncle. Or we can convert this sentence the other way. So that is, he is given many expensive things by his uncle. So when we use direct object first, then we use to in the sentence after the third form of the verb. But when we use indirect object first, that is he, then we have not to use any to in this sentence. See, look at this sentence. She sells an expensive necklace for a very low price. Now this for a very low price is a separate thing. These are the separate words. We have to find three things: subject, verb, object. So subject, verb, object. So we have to keep object first. An expensive necklace is the object. Purely necklace is the object, but an expensive necklace, now these attributes are with this subject, with this object. So we have to take the whole object and we have to put it in the first place. Okay, in the beginning. An expensive necklace, because necklace is a singular subject, we have to use is. An expensive necklace is sold. Third form of sale is sold. Sell is sold. Okay, so by her. An expensive necklace is sold by her. Now passive voice is done. But there is some extension also. For a very low price. We have to add that here. For her for a very low price. You can add it at the end. Or you can write this way also. An expensive necklace is sold for a very low price by her at the end. So at the this first one we have kept by her between these words, okay, two parts, but here we have used this at the end. So we can remove it if we want. Suppose we can remove by her from here. In larger composition we do not need to mention the doer like by her, so we have to remove this part. So at a low price, full stop. Suppose if we put full stop here, then the passive voice is done. But if you are given separate sentences for converting into passive voice, then you may mention the doer also in certain exercises. Some separate sentences are given, only single sentences. Then we can use by her, by them, by me. But in larger compositions, when our task are suppose we have the purpose to use passive voice to avoid the doer or the subject, then we have not to use by her, by them, by me. The chairman, see, look at this sentence. The chairman gives him a prize for his sincere services. Again, we have to find three things: subject, verb, object. But here there are two objects, him and a prize. Okay, so see, look at this sentence. He is given a prize by the chairman. So here we have done the passive voice, but okay, because there are some other words also, we have to add them here or after by, but we haven't used by here. Okay, so for his services, sincere services, so by we have used here by the, but by the chairman for his sincere services. He is given the prize, a prize by the chairman. Okay, so we have written by here, by the chairman, but we can write this by the chairman at the end also. Okay, for his sincere services. So as we have done here, a prize is given to him for his sincere services. Okay, we haven't written any by the chairman extra. Okay, so because now passive voice is done, so you can add here by the chairman. But in larger composition, suppose we have not to use this part by and doer. So you must know this thing, that if a verb is transitive verb, it can be converted into passive voice, but if a verb is intransitive, then it cannot be converted into passive voice. So what is transitive verb and what is intransitive verb? Transitive verb has an object. A verb that has an object is called a transitive verb. An intransitive verb has no object. A verb that has no object is called an intransitive verb. Note, if the verb in a sentence is transitive, it cannot be converted into passive voice. But if the verb in a sentence is transitive, it can be converted into passive voice. So now we have learned tense number one, that is present indefinite tense, the passive of present indefinite tense. After this we have to learn the passive voice of past indefinite tense. So here the difference is slight. Okay, in the past indefinite tense the formula is subject plus V2 plus object. In present indefinite the formula was subject plus V1 plus object. Only the difference is of the main verb, the form of the main verb. So here we have to use second form. And now see, look at this passive formula. Object plus was were. So in the previous tense we used is MR as helping verbs. So here we have to use was were as helping verbs. This is the difference. And the rest of the formula is the same. V3 plus by preposition plus subject into objective case. This is the same. Suppose, for example, I wrote a story. This is active voice. And a passive voice is a story was written by me. This is passive voice. In the first tense, present indefinite, there was I write a story and a story is written by me. Now here is I wrote a story was written by me. There is only difference of this helping verb. So there we used is, am, are as helping verbs, and here we use was, were as helping verbs. So here the story is singular, so we have used was written by me. So same, I and objective case me, we objective case us, you objective case you, and he objective case is him, she and objective case is her, it objective case is it, they objective case them, and John name will remain the same. He took tea. This is active voice. Tea was taken by him. Passive voice, very easy. He called me. I was called by him. This is passive voice. I bought books. Books were bought by me. Okay, she bought a lot of household things. A lot of household things were bought by her. All his friends enjoyed the welcome party. The welcome party was enjoyed by all his friends. She purchased an expensive two-story house. An expensive two-story house was purchased by her. His uncle gave him many expensive things. Now we have to take this many expensive things and we have to keep it in the beginning. Many expensive things were given to him by his uncle. In other ways, when you use indirect object first, he was given many expensive things by his uncle. She sold an expensive necklace for a very low price. Passive voice is an expensive necklace was sold by her for a very low price. Or you can write this way also. An expensive necklace was sold for a very low price by her. Okay, then the chairman gave him a prize for his sincere services. His sincere services, here chairman is subject, gave is verb, and him is object, and a prize is also object. But this for his sincere services is additional. Okay, so this is not included with this object. Object is a prize. Okay, so we have to start with a prize or with he. So in the first place we have to start with the he. Okay, he was given a prize by the chairman for his sincere services. Or we have to start this way. A prize, this is direct object, was given to him for his sincere services. So you can see right here by the chairman at the end. Okay, so I think you have understood the passive voice, and the passive voice of the rest of the tenses will be taught in the next videos. So I think these things are useful to you. So if you find them useful, like my channel and subscribe. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.